I want to continue to thank you all for your time and attention to this matter, and also for respecting the privacy of our families as we go through this horrific tragedy that has occurred here. It's been little over a week. The community is still grieving. We continue to attend funerals. We continue to visit our victims in a hospital. Our school board members that are here behind me, they've been reaching out to every single one of the victims. They've been making visits to hospitals. They've been making phone calls. This has become their work as we get through this tragedy. And I want to thank our school board members for their continued support. Without their courage and leadership, it would be an extremely challenging, more challenging than it already is. So again, our focus continues to be on supporting the majority of our Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School victim families, the employees, and the entire community. So what I want to walk through today is just to confirm with you what the schedule is going to be next week. Just talk briefly about what we've been doing for preparation. I know there's been some questions about rifles, our school resource officers carrying automatic rifles in school, so I'll just speak to that briefly on what that process is going to look like going forward. But just to clarify and reiterate what the schedule is for next week. Today you've seen teachers come in and out. Today is really just a day we're giving the teachers to come back in, to meet with each other, to spend a couple hours at the school, to receive any services and support that they need to. But it's just a day for us to connect with them, for them to connect with each other, and do what we can to just help with the transition. Monday, on Sunday, I would say, is going to be an open period from 3 to 6 p.m. on Sunday is an open orientation. You can think about that as kind of an open house where we'll allow students to come back and look at any schedule changes they may have, and ask for any kind of services they need, any kind of accommodations. So we're going to meet with students, and we'll have a variety of district services here to be able to answer any questions they have and provide anything that they need. Monday and Tuesday, staff will return to the school, and they'll be here full-time on those days. They will use those days to prepare for their students. We will provide extensive counseling and support services to our teachers, show them the love and care that they deserve and need in these difficult times. And classes for students will resume on Wednesday. Now this week for our students they'll be on a modified schedule. Essentially half day of classes. They'll be coming in from 7:40 to 11:40 each day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So next week I would characterize as a week of phased reopening. It's a week of transition. It's a week of folks coming together, reconnecting, and going through the healing process as we open school and work to get back to some level of normalcy for our students, again, our faculty, and our community. Our maintenance and facilities folks have been working diligently since the past weekend to get the school ready. They have been power washing the school. They've been painting. They've been doing repairs to doors. They've been replacing glass, doing what we can to just get the school in tip-top shape once they return. One of the things that we've worked through, Building 12, as you know, will no longer be accessible. No classes will be provided there. It's sealed off. We actually have to do some adjustments with our fire alarm systems and electrical to get that moved to another building. So there's going to be some testing of fire alarms that will go on today as well. I've spoken on a number of occasions over the last 48 hours with Sheriff Israel, and he has introduced automatic rifles for school resource officers on school grounds as a precautionary measure. It is short-term, it's interim. It's a recognition that, we don't want to see any copycat incidents potentially occur. Just really creating a heightened level of security presence in our schools. There have been some concerns about that. I've asked him to pull some of that back, especially at our elementary schools. And I can tell you over the next couple weeks, we're going to have some conversations where our school board, as well as the sheriff and the community, will have a more extensive and thoughtful conversation about what we will do relative to this topic going forward in the future. But ultimately, the school board members behind me will make a decision on that. But what you see occurring now is essentially an interim stopgap measure to create a heightened sense of security around the district. With that said, I'll open it up to, well, let me first have our school board chair just say a few words, and then we will open it up to any questions you may have. School board chair, Nora Rupert.
Good afternoon. We have been completely grateful for the outpouring of love and support that we've received, not only within our district and our state and our country, but around the world. I want to give a reminder to help the victims and their families that the Broward Education Foundation has established a GoFundMe account, and it's gofundme.com/Stoneman Douglas Victims Fund. In addition, BEF has launched a mobile giving text to donate campaign. A text sent to 20222 with the message Parkland in all caps will forward a $10 donation to support the victims and families of this tragedy. As we continue to move forward in our healing, and for those needing to speak with a counselor over the phone, the BPS hotline with family counselors is available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day, and you can call 754-321-HELP or 754-321-4357. You can also email to 24/7 to wesupport@browardschools.com or text Florida to 741-741 to be connected with a counselor. And for any of our parents or staff that would need an additional counselor, we have resources to talk to your children on our website, browardschools.com/crisis support, and that gives you a huge amount of information that you can share and talk about with your children, and also access our resources. Thank you so much.
Where will students with no classes in that building attend class?
I'm sorry, what's the question, please?
Students and teachers who had classrooms in Building 12, where will they be placed?
So the administration here has done some really great work in redoing the entire master schedule to utilize spaces in a creative way in the existing facilities that we have. So we're going to be able to work and fit the students into the remaining buildings that we have on the campus to be able to take their classes. So that's all been worked out. Students, they may have different locations that they're going to be in, but they'll be with the same classmates and teachers. Yeah, I'm extremely upset, outraged. It's inexcusable. I was happy to see that the sheriff dealt with it swiftly. He called me yesterday before his press announcement to let me know of his findings and what had occurred. It's just really outrageous, and I'll leave it at that. There's no other words to describe what we heard yesterday. What I won't do is demonize or characterize our law enforcement professionals in any other school locations around the county because of the actions of one individual. I have seen nothing in this county that would suggest that behavior is anything that's reflective of the quality of law enforcement that we have at our schools or anywhere else in Broward County. You know, relative to the individual again coming to the board, look, lots of folks come to the board. They advocate for a lot of different positions. Regardless of what that was, there's nothing that he's done in his past that I care about other than what action he did or did not take on that tragic day. And again, it's inexcusable, it's despicable what we heard yesterday in terms of his response. I wish he had the same kind of courage that our teachers that have showed up here today have. They're looking to get back to be with their kids. They're consoling each other. It's a difficult moment for them. Many of them, it's the first time they've been back in the school. So we're trying to just work with them to get them through it. Our teachers are just outstanding. They're really doing their best to be strong and take this well. They know they have to be there for their kids that they love. And so we're going to continue to support them to the greatest extent possible.
Superintendent, what do you think about the president's proposal to arm teachers with guns in classrooms?
You know, first of all, I am totally against arming teachers with that. And it's not just about me. You just go talk to teaching professionals of whether that makes sense. If we really want to do something, spend money on adding more school resource officers and law enforcement personnel out there. Asking our teachers to carry guns, to me, that's an easy way out. You don't spend any money, you don't spend any resources on it. We got to do a better job investing in education, making sure our schools are as safe as possible. So if they're really serious about it, pay to have trained law enforcement professionals on campus and allow us to have more of them. Don't put guns in the hands of teachers. They have a challenging job as it is. That I don't think is the right direction that we need to go on.
When you spoke on day one, you said you were not aware of any specific threat to the school by an individual. Since then, we learned the SRO was told that there was an individual who was perhaps a school shooter in the making. Did that SRO relay that to anyone in the administration? What, if anything, did you do?
I'm not aware of what you're suggesting at the moment. I have no knowledge or briefing of any particular tips or information that this particular school resource officer received. Notwithstanding what information he did or did not receive, my focus is how did the individual respond? How did he do his job at the most critical time that we needed him? And again, that's we know what the story is there, and it's a terrible development. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Yeah. No, the sheriff did not give me any details as to why the officer did not enter the school. But I will say, as far as we know, there wasn't anything prohibiting that officer from entering the school and doing what he could. Yes, sir. Well, let me get someone else just a quick second.
I need a number. How many students would be in building 12 and be relocated?
That building was designed to accommodate up to 900. I don't know the exact number that were taking classes in that building, but it could accommodate up to 900 students. There are about 3,300 students here at the school. I'm sorry, what is it? I'm sorry, it was, let me correct that number. It's 550, I hear. It's 550? Approximately 550 were accommodated in that building.
What do you say
That
to
day.
students,
That day, sorry.
students or staff members who don't want to come back to school?
Look, our message has been around flexibility. Our message has been around support. And any student and any faculty member that truly does not want to come back to this school, we will work with them to transfer them to another school in Broward County. I can tell you the majority of students, if not almost all of them, and faculty, they want to be back together with their peers. They want to be back together with the Stoneman Douglas family. As they say, they are MSD strong, and they want to show that this coming week.
Can you describe what it was like today at the...
Yes?
Superintendent, do you believe this school had adequate security with just one SRO? You have a large campus and 3,300 students. Is one SRO adequate security for a campus this size?
Well, I would say this. you almost never have enough of what you need, right? So we certainly believe that there's an opportunity to add additional school resource officers to a campus. What that looks like, we will have some debate and conversation about that. A lot of that boils down to funding from the state legislature. I'm sure this is a conversation that should come out of the committee and task force that the governor's put together. I continue to take this position that we have to look at this in a comprehensive way. So first is that there are things that we know that can be done to harden schools, enhance the level of security, and that includes potentially adding additional school resource officers. The second thing we have to absolutely realize is that regardless of how many officers that we have on a campus, regardless of how extensive the services that we provide to an individual that may have mental health issues, behavioral health issues, the fact that they can still go get a gun and an automatic rifle, that is a problem. So we still need to have some kind of change in our gun laws. And then third, we have to be able to have better investments in mental health services and create a continuum of services for individuals and allow law enforcement, school districts, mental health agencies to be able to collaborate in a more effective way so we can create a smarter system, a smarter infrastructure to be able to take action when needed.
Superintendent, the officers with the automatic weapons, are we going to see them Wednesday on campus patrol?
Yes, you'll probably see them on this coming week on campus. I mean, at this point, that we're continuing to look at that, but at this point, yes.
Address what happened on campus today, and then I'm going to wrap up.
Yeah,
Please.
go ahead.
Superintendent, are you disappointed by reports of video surveillance delay from first responders and people that will actually review the providing that?
Right. Well, thank you for asking that question because there's certainly been some information out there that needs to be clarified. So let me just tell you, our video surveillance systems work in real time. There's no point in having a video surveillance system that is not providing real-time information. In fact, it is because the video surveillance system is in real time that 2 of our employees responded with the level of immediacy that they did, are true heroes and sacrificed their lives. The coach, the campus monitor, that is part of their job. They were monitoring this from the very beginning in real time. What you're referring to is when law enforcement arrived on the scene. At that point, when they began to look at video, the shooter had already left the building. So what was happening is that we were looking at some of the delayed film so that we could identify the shooter, what the individual looked like, and so on. And so law enforcement was able to use that to be able to go and apprehend the individual within an hour after the incident. So to be clear, our video surveillance system provided high quality video in real time, and it also allows you the capability to go and work in delay. I believe what we need to consider is to provide some additional training, maybe some guidance to our local law enforcement folks, so when they do step on our campus, they're well aware of how the system is working. So that's what I would say on that matter.
Superintendent, today, did teachers go back to their actual classrooms? And if they did, was everything left the way it was, or had custodians put the rooms back in order as well?
So we've done as much cleaning and things that we can, but those rooms should be intact. Some of our educators have different room assignments, so yeah, there's some changes there, and that's part of the process they're going to go through in terms of getting reacclimated to the school.
And what happened on campus today? They met for breakfast, and then what else?
They met for breakfast. They talked. Some of them asked about different kind of services they needed. We had lots of resources on here. We even had a number of therapy dogs on campus. We're going to do whatever it takes. One of the board members talked about bringing massage therapy folks on campus, but we're going to do what we can to alleviate the stress, the pain, and the grief that we know our teachers are going through. And of course, when our students get back, we'll be ready to support them as well.
Runcie, one more question.
Yes.
The governor today, just a few minutes ago, announced some steps he wanted to take, including making it harder for anybody who's a threat, supposedly, to get a gun, adding more school resource officers to schools, raising the age to 21 to buy a rifle, and some steps like that. Is that enough in your view?
Hey, you know what? It's probably not enough, but I'll say it's a great start. If the legislature can execute those things, I'll give them a high five for this year as a start for us to move on.
Superintendent, were there teachers that had to go into that building that was shot up, retrieve all their old
No one.
all their stuff that was in their room?
No one's been allowed to go in that building because, again, it's a crime scene. It's on lockdown. It is now fenced off. We were able to remove personal belongings from the building, and there was a time over the past weekend where folks were able to come and take possession of their belongings. So no one's going into that building.
Will that building be torn down?
At this point, no official decision has been made. The state a couple days ago asked us for some preliminary estimates for building a new building, doing a demolition, and we gave them a number. We are going to continue to press the legislature to provide funding to support the wishes of this school and community, that they do want a new facility. They need a new facility because we cannot continue with the structure that we're going to put in place for the remainder of the year. It's not sustainable. So we need additional facility space, and we can't use that building. So it's really a no-brainer. We need funding from the state to build a new facility here. And then ultimately, I think based on the wishes of the community, that would be torn down with school board approval for all of this. And we would work with the victims and their families to for them to help us to figure out what would be an appropriate type of memorial to erect on that site.
How much is that figure, that preliminary figure?
The figure that we gave the state was a little around $25 million. Was it? Oh, I'm sorry. It was $28.5 million was the number we gave to the state. What I will tell you is that in my conversations with the governor, the key lawmakers, the good news is that the session's still in play. They have money to be able to do this. We just needed for them to take action. And I'm hopeful that the governor, the Speaker of the House, the Senate President, all of them will provide the leadership that we're counting on to be able to provide the funding and resources that we need. And as was mentioned earlier, to pass some of these reforms that they're suggesting that are on the table. All right, thank you all.